Howdy there, I'm that indie games guy, and if you're here, then you're exactly like me. You love indie games and want to know what games will be coming out in the future. Or if you're watching this from the future, games that have already been released. This video, I'll explore a whole list of indie games that are set to be released shortly. These could be games you've already wishlisted, or unknown gems. Let me know in the comments below if you like the look of any of these games, and let the video commence. First off on the list, we have The Cub, a game brought to us from the creators of Golf Club Nostalgia and High Water. You might have been able to tell straight away given the visuals are perfectly matched, so it doesn't feel like you ever left the area. The game is a story-rich parkour adventure, set around a child being hunted by humans that left Earth a long time ago. You'll need to explore the broken down wasteland of an apocalypse that happened during the last catastrophe. Whilst you might not fully understand why this is happening at the start, each level will give you a glimpse into the whos and whys of the hunting of the young child. All I can hope is that you'll be able to survive long enough to uncover everything that you need to know about this stunningly disastrous world. I've played Golf Club Nostalgia, and it had me swinging for more, pun intended, but to be able to go back to the wasteland and explore more, it's a fantastic choice by the developers to keep the world alive, unlike the humans in the game. Believe me when I say I was shocked to hear this game would be getting a DLC, let alone a farming game within this beautiful world. Eastward Octopia is a upcoming DLC for the main game Eastward. The DLC will be bringing something new to the game for the first time, and that's some peace and quiet. Sam and John can finally grow some crops, tend livestock, and turn an abandoned fairground into a thriving village, with the help of the weird and wonderful cast of the beloved Eastward characters. The game will focus on being able to build relationships with your favourite characters from the game, but with this, there'll be no miasma in sight. Part of the original game was John being able to cook up some meals that you can use to heal, but this time around, you'll be using your skills to whip up a meal for the whole community as you bring people closer together. The game looks like it's took a lot of inspiration from games like Stardew Valley, as you'll be able to take a broken down community, turn it into a modern wonder of the world. Maybe not that good, but you get the drift. The original is one of my all-time favourite indie games. It is just a masterpiece, and if you haven't played it, please do. But to be able to go back into this world, but this time make it beautiful and peaceful instead, well, I won't spoil the original, but that isn't what happens. It makes me so happy. I'm sure it'll be a fantastic addition to the game, and I love farming simulators, so it's a win-win no matter what. Following on, we're going from a peaceful farming simulator to the end of everything, Ragnarok. This is Roots of Yggdrasil, a rogue-like city building game that'll have you attempt to search the 9 realms in a hope for answers, as Suna, the main character, and her tribe of Vikings try to piece together why they're stuck here. You'll need to create settlements, build your deck of cards, and collect artifacts as you explore the 9 realms of Norse mythology. You'll need to build your settlements from the ground up, but you won't be alone. You'll need to beat the clock as you're being chased down by Jinugapa. I hope I got that right. It was quite a difficult one, but I think I nailed it. Each time that you're caught, you'll need to start your adventure over again and take the knowledge from the previous run into the next one. The game will feature procedurally generated islands, encounters and events, which means that no 2 adventures will be alike. You'll have the opportunity before each run to add or remove building cards from your deck to further customize the run that you'll have in front of you. Roots of Yggdrasil will be releasing into early access, which I believe is a great call here. The devs have already confirmed that you'll be able to complete the roguelike map in the early access build, but they've stated that the final release should be around 6 months time from now, which will include additional relationships with existing and new characters and new building cards into the game. A roguelike building game is something that is new to me, so I really hope that they're able to build from the ground up and make this a success. I think it's time for us to get a little funky with Anomaly Agent, a cyberpunk action platformer featuring fluid combat, a time-bending story, quirky characters, and a catchy synthwave soundtrack. Pretty funky indeed if you ask me. The game looks stunning with its fast-paced action and beautiful pixel graphics that make the world just stand out. You'll need to become Agent 70 as you're tasked with stopping the anomalies that are happening across the world. It seems the game will feature mechanics that will shape the story to enable you to have a good or bad ending. Combat looks pretty Insano style, with you being able to throw enemies off roofs and anything that has a ledge next to it, slice through them with a katana, or take them out with that double barrel and send them straight to hell with a double pump. It's got the looks of being a great side-scrolling adventure, and if the soundtrack can keep up, I'm sure we'll be in for an absolute treat. Next up, we have a city builder's dream with New Cycle, a strategy city builder that's set around you building a new civilization out of the chaos of an apocalyptic solar flare, as you grow your house from a lone shelter to an industrial metropolis. The game is giving me the opposite of Frostpunk, as you'll definitely not be cold in this one after a solar flare, but the idea of surviving off what is left after an apocalypse and trying to thrive once again. That's why I love these games, as you are the one that decides what goes where, and you really are at the mercy of hoping that it pays off within the community. If you place it in the wrong place, you could end up having to go back hours of gameplay just to try and recover what you had. You'll need to start with nothing as you build up towards a city. Start by sending workers out to forage for food, collect scraps, and dig for items until you're able to build factories to give jobs, have farms to supply food, and so on. Nothing comes easy in the new world. Your people are your primary resource, as well as your devout followers. Support them in any way that you can. Manage their morale, efficiency, and workforce size, but take care that they don't fall into discontent or convert your power as chief of their house. It's down to you depending on how much you give or take. If you enjoy city builders where one wrong move can be the difference between starting again, then I think this is right down your street. These are my favourite types of city building sims, and I can't wait to give this one a go and see if I can survive the solar flare. I can say I've never known a game like this before, but please let me know down below if you know of any others like it. I'm really excited to see how it all plays out, seeing as that is the fact. We have War Hospital, a social survival management game where you've guessed it, you'll be the head of a war hospital set within World War I. It'll be down to you to build a makeshift hospital with the bombed out buildings around you, and take on every patient that's getting injured within a mile or so from the front line. The game will feature all the available medicine and medical equipment that was readily available during World War I, so don't expect this to be a walk in the park. You'll need to make life or death choices on the fly, as you'll never know if someone will make it through whatever option you've made for them. These are going to be really difficult choices, as if someone comes in after getting some kind of damage to an arm or leg, maybe it's time for some amputation, or do you think they can pull through with whatever options you have available? More and more help will arrive as the game goes on, as you'll need to recruit nurses and doctors, or let's be honest, any available pair of hands that you can get help with in this time, and look towards curing and saving as many lives as possible. I hope the game is as good as it looks. It can be really tricky doing a game on a real life subject, and I hope that it's going to allow people to understand the history a little bit more about the event that changed the course of the world. Oh Valve, seeing as you won't give us a new Portal game, it's amazing to see that we have such talented people in this world who are able to provide us what the gamers want. This is Portal Revolution, a mod for Portal 2, which does mean that you'll need to own that game first. The game is set between Portal 1 and 2 in the decaying Aperture testing facility. You'll play as a new test subject, who has just been awoken to help a mysterious character named Sterling to bring Aperture back to what it originally was. The mod will feature 40 new challenging puzzles, which will pick up where Portal 2 ended. That doesn't mean that Puzzle 1 will be impossible, but these won't be a walk in the park. You'll need to think outside the box if you want to know if the cake is a lie or not this time around. The mod will feature new mechanics and advanced portal tricks that are all for you to figure out and unlock the best way possible to complete the puzzles in front of you. I'm still blown away that the game modding community can take a game and add so many cool new things. I'm used to seeing mods in games like Fallout or Skyrim where they might add a weapon or a new character, but when you see a full release that is effectively a story game between Portal 1 and 2, it really doesn't comprehend in my brain how people can do such amazing things. Kudos to everyone that is involved, and I really do hope that everyone picks up this mod and gives it a go, because if you have played Portal, you'll understand how amazing the game is. The Night is Grey is the next game on the list, a point-and-click adventure where surviving the night is the least of your worries. You'll play as a man named Graham, who is lost and alone in the woods, surrounded by strange wolves. Whilst trying to escape, he bumps into a lost girl, all abandoned, and won't survive without his help. You'll need to solve puzzles, escape whatever the woods throws at you, and if you're able to get out alive with the young one. The visuals look stunning, and the game feels alive. I often think graphics don't make a game, but this world looks real. It's like as if someone's watching you. The whole animation was hand-drawn frame by frame, so it isn't just a game, it's really a work of art. I hope point-and-click adventures get more love in 2024. I feel as a genre they don't get as many releases as they should these days, and I guess it's down to consoles being so big. But I want to play more of them. I feel like the main character in a point-and-click is me trying to find and piece it all together. I feel like you get to play as the person, deciding where they walk, what they look at, and that internal monologue that you see on the screen. Let's hope The Night is Grey starts the year off with a bang. I'll start by saying this one is a horror game and it might not be for everyone. So if you're not a fan and fancy skipping over this one, here is the timestamp for you to hop over to the last game on the list. Just don't want anyone to be terrified of what they might see in a moment. So let's get into Supernormal, which, if this is normal, I don't want to be part of it. It's a psychological horror game set in a seamlessly ordinary apartment harbouring dark secrets. You'll play as Detective Wyatt, tasked with unravelling the disappearance of a young girl. The game will feature a really cool mechanic which I've seen more and more in the last few months, in which your voice will be the main aspect of the game. You'll need to communicate directly to the spirits for help. They might help you and lead you towards the glory and the goals that you've been searching for, or they might lead you to your death. No Ouija board needed for this one, but definitely decide who you trust. Being developed by a solo developer, Supernormal is a spiritual successor to Allison Road. No matter what happens with the game, we should all give massive respect to the developer. I'm not normally one for horror games, but I think I'll give this one a try for a change. Maybe. I'll see how I feel when the game comes out. Last up on the list we have Home Safety Hotline, an analog horror-inspired telephone operator simulator where you answer incoming callers' questions about what is inside their home. You'll need to listen to what is happening and what they can see or hear, and read through a vast catalogue of common pests or household hazards and do your best to become an expert in home safety. Get something wrong, and sadly, you'll be the one held responsible for whatever might happen to that person. You'll need to use your computer knowledge and enjoy the views of the internet of old as you search around for the answer. You can put your callers on hold whilst you search for whatever the answer might be, but let's not leave them hanging around for too long by themselves. You never know what might happen if you can't get the answer fast enough. I grew up with having to plug the modem router in and listen to that crazy dial-up beat, so I'm hoping that it gives me all the vibes that I want from AOL being the main platform to the weird and quirky websites that you found by random. Thank you so much to everyone for watching. It really does mean the world to me, and I just can't tell you how thankful I am. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, week, or even year depending on when you watch this. I'll catch you all next time. Bye bye.